Hello student, in the system analysis and design, today's topic is maintenance activities. In the last lecture start what is the maintenance, why maintenance is necessary for the software and the system development, and the various types of the maintenance activities also performed. The maintenance is provided to the Institute of Electrical and Electrical Engineers provides a framework for sequential maintenance processes activity. It can be used in an iterative manner and it can be extended on a customized item and processes can be included. This activity go in hand in hand with the age of the various phases. The these frameworks for the sequential maintenance activity. The first is this activity is identification and the tracing. First is identification and tracing. It involves activities to identification of requirement of modification or maintenance. It is generated by user or system may itself report via logs or an error message. It firstly activity the identification of the requirement and modifications or the maintenance. It is generated by the user or system may itself report or log an error message. Here the maintenance type is also classified. First is the analysis. First is analysis. The modification is analyzed for its reports, for its impact on the system, including safety and the security implication. A problem impact is solved, alternative solution is looked for. A set of required modification is then materialized into requirement specification. The cost of modification, maintenance is analyzed and estimation is also concluded. The next is design. Next is design. New modules which need to be replaced or modified are designed against requirement specification set in the various stages. Test cases are created for validation and the verification. Next is the implementation. Next is implementation. Next is system testing. Next is acceptance testing. Acceptance testing. The implementation. New modules are coded with the help of structure design created in the design step. Every programmer is accepted. Do unit testing is parallel. Next is system testing. Integration testing is done among newly created module. Integration testing is also carried out between new modules and the system. Finally, the system is tested as a whole following the regressive testing procedure. Acceptance testing. After the testing is system internally, it is tested for acceptance with the help of user. If all the state user complaint some issues, they are addressed or noted to address in the next iteration. Next is delivery. Next is delivery. Next is maintenance management. Delivery. After acceptance test, system is deployed all over the organization either by the small update package or the press installation of the system. The final testing take place at client and after the software is delivered after the acceptance of the test, tested, etc. The system is deployed all over the organization either by the small update package or the fresh installation of the system. The training facilities provided if required. If addition to the hard copy of user manual, a hard copy of the system is also provided to the user. Then the maintenance management, configuration management is an essential part of the system maintenance. It is added with the version of the control tools to the control version and the semi versions or the management. This of the various types of the maintenance activity. First is identification and the tracing, analysis, design, implementation, system testing, acceptance testing, delivery, and the maintenance management. These types of the maintenance activities in the performs in the maintenance process. Next topic is hardware software selection and the computer contract. Hardware and the software selection, and the computer contract. The analyst must be familiar with the computer industry in general, what various computer can and cannot do, whether to purchase or lease the system, and the vendors and their outlets and their selection procedure. Hardware software selection begin with the requirement analysis followed by the request for the proposal and the vendor evaluation. The final system selection initiate the contract negotiation. It includes the purchase price, maintenance agreement, and the amount of updating or the enhancement to be available by the vendor or the life of the system. The analyst must be familiar with every time the computer industry, what various computer can do, whether to purchase or lease the system. These types of the selection is taken in the computer contract. Next is computer industry. Next is in the computer industry. They can be classified into the three groups. First is hardware group. First is hardware suppliers. Second is software suppliers. And the third is service suppliers. First is the hardware suppliers. This group includes the maintenance manufacturers, peripheral vendor, suppliers vendor, computer leasing firms, and the used system dealers. Peripheral manufacturer supply tape drive, dish, and the discrete driver, printer, and the other components. Vendors of supply providers consumer supplies such as the printer form, and the consumer supplies such as dish bag, tape reels, tape library, and these types of the hardware suppliers. These groups include the mainframe, the manufacturer, peripheral vendor, supplier vendor, computer leasing firm, and use the computer system. Second is the software suppliers. In today markets, the various types of the systems and the applications are used in the computers. Various types of the software packages are also available. Computer users can acquire program from the other of the software houses or the virtually in every application is imaginable. Price are vary from the basic software and their use. These types of various types of the software suppliers are available. the users are used as per the price and as per their requirement. Then next is the service supply. Outside the computer, services are commonly used by the small firm or the first time users, also called services. They include computer manufacturers supply services such as system design, programming, education and training, and the hardware maintenance. Services runs application for the small firm. Large firm contract for the specialized application or from running jobs during the volume period. The primary services are programming file and the system conversion, system design and the user training. Facilities management furnishes specialized to manage a user install computer on the user premises. To some cases, services is limited to developing application program. The user runs the system but calls on the service organization for the development of the work and the maintenance. These types of the service supply. Then the next topic is the software industry. The next topic is the software industry. The software industry perform all the activity and the businesses involvement with the development, maintenance and distribution of the computer software. Software industry started its operation during the mid 70s, 1970. In the modern area of the technology, software industry can be regarded and the most booming industry in the world. Software industry also cover all the activity like software servicing, training and the consultancy also. Software industry is the large and the most booming industry in the world. For example, for the last couple of the years, the industry is dominated for the software industry. Again, Microsoft Corporation is the very large booming industry, large booming business organization. One of the reports of the Microsoft Software magazine shows in the last years the total amount of the revenue earns in the software companies, their highest, very large software industry earn the profits. The present tendencies of the software industry, the present tendencies in software industry. The economy of the leading company are mostly depend on the development of the software product. Although some major companies like IBM, Sun, Microsoft are also taking part in developing open source software to take the advantage of getting some portion of the market share. Some aspect of the software industry package application made for the business purposes and written for the mass distribution enterprise software. These types of the software basically made for the big corporation for the production or the selling purpose. Then the system software is especially made for the system and the related function like operation system software. Some of the other categories like the utility software and the application software. Some aspect of the software industry. First is the package application made for the business purpose. The some aspect of the first is package application. Second is enterprise software. Third is system software. Package applications made for the business purposes and written for mass distribution. made for the business purpose and written for the mass level of the distribution. Enterprise software, this types of the software is basically made for the big corporation for their production and the selling purpose. For the big corporation is for the TCS organization, for the Infosys and the Reliance, these types of the big corporation for their production and the selling purposes. System software specially made for the system related function like the operation system software, some other categories like utility software, application software, etc. Then the two types of the software company, then the two types of two types of software companies. First is system software, and second is application software. There are two types of the software company. First is the system software and the second is the application software. The system software includes the programs that are dedicated to managing the computer itself, such as the operating system, file management utility, disk operating system. The operating system manages the computer hardware resources in addition to the applications and the data. Without system software installed in your computer, could have to type the instruction for everything we wanted to computer to do. Without operating system you do not perform any operation in your computer system. The necessary of the operating system, necessary of the system software is necessary. The system software includes the program that are dedicated and managing the computer itself, such as operating system, file management utility and the disk operating system. This is the first is the system software. Second is the application software. For the simply application are often called the productivity program and the end user program because they enable the user to complete the tasks such as creating the document, creating the spreadsheet, database and the application. And the application software is perform the particular task, doing the online resource researches, sending email, design graphics, running businesses and even playing the games. Application software is a specific task is designed for and can be simple as a calculator application or as complex as the word processing application. When you begin creating a document, the word processing software has already set the margin, font style, size and the line spacing for you. But you can changes this setting and you can have many more formatting options are also. For example, the word processor application make it easy to add a color, headings and the pictures or delete, copy, move and the changes the document appearance to suit you have the needs. The procedure for there are two types of the software company. First is the system software and second is the application software. Then the next is the procedure for hardware and the software selection. Procedure for hardware and software selection. Today selecting a system is a serious and the time consuming business. Unfortunately many systems are still selected based on the vendor reputation and on the other subjective matter. The time spent on the selection process is a function of the application and whether the system is the basic microcomputer or the mainframe. There are the several factors are considered to the system selection. First is the define the system capability that make the sense for the business. Computer have the proven valuable to the business. First is the cost reduction includes reduction of the inventory, saving of the space and improve the ability to the business trends. And next is the cost avoidance includes early reductions of the problems and ability to expand the operation without adding a clerical help, improve the serious quick ability of information to the customers and improve accuracy and the fast turnout, improve profitability, reflect the business and its ability to keep receivable within the region, specify the problem that is clearly whether the selections of entail the few peripheral or the major decision concerning the mainframe. The this involves the determining the expertise needed in areas such as the telecommunication and the database design. Consider the hardware software as a package. This approach includes the compatibility. In fact, software should be considered first because often the user secures the hardware and then what the software is available for it. Develop a schedule for the selection process and maintenance. A schedule helps keep the project under the control. The maintenance is important for the software. Any types of the problems are arises, they are solved in the maintenance. Provides the user helps. Any types of the problems are occurring to the user, they also solve. Selling the system to the user staff, providing adequate training and preparing a proper environment to the user. These types of the procedure for the hardware and the software selection. Then various types of the phases are used in the selection of the process. Major phases in selection process. First phase is requirement analysis. First phase is requirement analysis. Second is system specification. System specification. Third is request for proposal. Fourth is evaluation and validation. Fifth is vendor selection. And the sixth is post installation review. The selection process should be viewed as a project, such as project team should be organized with the management support. In a larger project, the team includes a more and more user representative as analysts and the consultant. Several steps make as a selection of the process. First is requirement analysis, then second is the system specification, request for the proposal, evaluation and the validation, vendor selection, post installation review. First is the requirement analysis. The first step in the selection in the understanding the user requirement within the framework of the organization of the objective and the environment in which system is being installed. In selecting the software, user must decide whether to develop it in your house or hire it or service take from the company or the contract of the programmer to create or simplify acquire it from the software house. It can be decided in the requirement analysis. Then next is the system specification. Failure to specify the system requirement before the final selection almost always the result the most reflect of the actual application to be handled by the system and include the system objective, their flowchart, input output requirement, file structure and their cost. Then request for the proposal. After the requirement analysis, system specification have been determined. Request for the proposal is drafted and sent to the selected vendor for the bidding and for the contract. Next is the evaluation and validation. The evaluation phase ranks the vendor the proposal and determine the one best suited to the user need. It looks it into the items such as the price, availability, and the technical support. Next is the vendor selection. This steps determine the vendor with the best combination of their reputation, their reliability, service record, training, delivery time, lease finance term, and the conversion schedule. This is firstly considered. Then at that basis the vendor is selected. Then next is the post installation review. Sometime after the package's installation, system evaluation is made to determine how closely the new system conform to the plan. How sometime after the package and the software is installed, system evaluation is made to determine how closely the new system conforms to the plan you are on your planning, on your requirement, the properly the system is installed or not. These types of the post installation reviews also taken. These types of the major phases of the selection process is taken for the software. Today close your session. Thank you.